What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Post-Gazette Pirates YouTube channel. Colin Beazley and Noah Hiles here, recapping a weekend series in Los Angeles. Colin is coming to you live from Chavez Ravine, Dodger Stadium, right outside the Vin Scully press box, I would presume, where he covered the Pirates series. Lost to the Dodgers. They won Friday night, lost Saturday night, and then concluded it with an ugly loss on Sunday afternoon. They are now, what are they? 11 and 18? Does that sound
11
right?
and 18. Yep.
11 and 18, still in last place of the National League Central Division. Colin, let's just get right into it here. We've got a lot to discuss. I feel like so much unfolded in these last three games, really this whole road trip, but especially these last three games. I'll start by asking you, was this a good road trip? We'll bunch
Yes.
in because we'll include this. This is a series recap, but I feel like the answer to this question is very pertinent on a lot of things that went into one series specifically. Although I'm asking a question about the whole road trip.
Yeah, I would say yes and no. It's a good road trip. It's not a good road trip. If you going into the series, if you said they'd go 3-3, I think the vast majority of Pirates fans would have been fine with that, considering the way the pitching lined up, playing the Dodgers, who on paper at least are the best team in baseball. With the way the Pirates have been playing, yeah, 3 wins sounds about right. But then you look at the series and you look at it on a game by game basis, winning the first two in Anaheim, winning Friday in a Paul Skeens start, and then playing really competitively last night and in the series finale in Anaheim. The Pirates were not that far away from going 5-1 on this road trip, and that's not a crazy thing to say. It's one where you feel like there were a lot of positives. There were a lot of good things that happened. Obviously, today was not a particularly good baseball game, but there was a lot of good that happened, and they still ended up going only 3-3. It's weird. Like going in the road trip, 3-3 was positive, probably positive. Now you kind of feel like they could have done some more.
Yeah, I feel like they look like a more complete baseball team throughout the whole series, and perhaps that's what makes the losses a little bit more frustrating. Is that they weren't necessarily incompetent at playing baseball like we've seen at other parts of this year where they just weren't a force at all in one area, be it the bullpen, be it offensively, be it defensively. Um, that's not to say there weren't shortcomings in these areas, but I feel like those shortcomings that you kind of alluded to, they stand out a little bit more because like they were playing well as a whole, and then just one little annoying thing came and ruined something. So yeah, that's where I think the frustration comes from. Is that like you said, this could have been a 5-1 road trip. And if that was the case, then that changes the whole season outlook. If they go 5-1, if they are up 4 games essentially, they're closer to 500. They're coming into a really tough homestand with some big momentum against the Cubs and the Padres, and they're going to need that momentum. And I remember Mitch Keller talking about right before they left for the West Coast. He said, if we can get some series wins out on the West Coast, that's going to really get us going. And they had a chance to do that. I don't think they're necessarily coming back with like horrible vibes. They got a series win and they took 1 of 3 against the Dodgers. That's going to be the case for a lot of teams this year, not just the Pirates, especially when you go into Los Angeles. But yeah, it's frustrating because there were a couple of moments, especially on Saturday night, which we're going to transition to now, that had they been managed a little differently, might have allowed them to go 4-2 on this trip. Might have allowed them to win another series against, like you said, Colin, the defending champs, the best team in baseball on paper. We're of course talking about Colin Holderman. That's the story from this series. There were a lot of great individual efforts this series, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But with Holderman, I mean, let's talk about it. Like, Colin, what would you have done there?
I really Derek Shelton said that Bednar and Santana were unavailable, and regardless of whether they were or weren't, I feel like that's a situation where you really want to go with either of those guys there. They both were used heavily this road trip. They both had pitched in 3 or 4, as he mentioned. But I feel like that's a situation where you've got a 4-4 game in the 8th inning against the Dodgers. That's a situation where you push the guys a little bit more, where you maybe go a little bit deeper into the well and you ask him to throw in a 4th game in 5. And that seemed like a time you use it. I also really didn't feel like that was the right time to put Colin Holderman in. I feel like today was the right time to put Colin Holderman in. Putting him in in the 7th inning today, he ended up being thrown in with the bases loaded, which was one thing. But in a spot where they were already down, where he can go, he can throw, he can get back to being on a major league mound, he can frankly see the ball go through the hoop a little bit. He can pitch, he can get a couple guys out and get some confidence back, get back into a rhythm. It obviously, Derek Shelton is not trying to get his players to fail. He's not doing anything crazy there. But it felt like he was throwing Colin Holderman into the deep end there. It felt like something that this was the most difficult possible spot, the highest leverage point in the entire series. And you're going to a guy that hadn't pitched at a major league level in a couple of weeks. I questioned the decision then, and obviously we're talking about it because it didn't work out.
Yeah, either someone's available or they're not. And like what he said with Santana not being available, I don't know why he wasn't available, but if he's not available, that's fine. But the fact that Bednar was up and throwing, that means that he is available. You do not have someone warm up mid-game if they're not going to throw that day. Like, you don't have Paul Skeens warming up, right? Because he's not going to pitch in that situation on that day. So the fact that that Bednar was up and available, or that indicates to me that he was available. Maybe they didn't want to use him for that situation, but like you mentioned, Colin, that's a situation where maybe you have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit and say, hey, I know we rode you hard here and we're going to get you some off days, but we can't put Colin Holderman in this spot right now. It's not what's best for him. It's not what's best for this team. And on the flip side, like if you're trying to, like, if you want to call a spade, Colin Holderman, you're a part of this big league bullpen. This is the role we have for you, and you either need to execute or you're going to get optioned. I see that mentality of it, but you have a chance to win a series. You have a chance to go up 2-0 against the Dodgers in Dodger Stadium, and you have a very lopsided matchup on the mound the next day. That was the time, I think, to be a little aggressive, and they weren't. I think a very fair criticism would be they try to, at times, this coaching staff, force something into working, where even if it's clearly not working, they're going to keep pushing the same button with the idea of if we keep doing this enough, this square peg will fit in this round hole. And that doesn't happen. Sometimes it's just not working. And I think this was one of those instances with Holderman. How do you go about it moving forward if this situation plays out again? I don't know. So
I think what you have to do, I can say a little bit about that. I think that you have to do what you did with David Bednar and gradually work him in. You need to put him in a couple spots where he can fail, where you have Colin Holderman pitched well today. He got put into a high leverage or a big spot in a game that was already decided and got out of it. Pitched a clean 7th inning against the top of the order. He had a low pressure situation and did really well. I think you put him into a situation or two like that into the next series. You gradually work him into the 7th, 8th inning. You let him get some confidence back. And I do think that he can be a quality setup man. He's done it before. I just really struggle with the decision to throw him in immediately and to ask him to do that as soon as he got back.
Final point I think we need to tackle here in this series recap, Colin, the offense. Look better. I mean, we looked at this pitching breakdown here, and they're facing Yamamoto, Sasaki, and Glasnow. And you're looking, how in the world are they going to score runs against these teams? They did really well against the Dodgers starting pitching. I mean, Glass now only threw 1 inning, but I thought they looked good against Sasaki. They looked really good against Yamamoto. No one's hit him that well this season. So is it safe to say the offense is kind of coming along here?
I'd say so. I think they've found some things that work. I think they've found the top 3 of Cruz, Reynolds, and McCutchen works well. I think that it's kind of sparking the entire offense. I don't think O'Neal Cruz is going to be as hot as he's been in April for the entire season. Like, he's hit, I think it's like going into today, I believe it was 4 leadoff home runs in 9 games. I don't think he's going to 5?
5 in the top of the order spot. Yeah, but
4
yeah.
4 leadoff home runs in 9, just to lead off the game in 9 games. I don't think he's going to keep up that pace and hit 80-something leadoff home runs this year. But I do believe in what he's been doing. I think that he's looked really good. You can tell pitchers are uncomfortable to face him first batter of the game. It's kind of like we talked. I'm going to make a comparison here that I'm not making, just to be very, very clear. Shohei Ohtani is a better player than O'Neal Cruz. But you can talk about pitchers and see that the Pirates pitchers going into the series were uncomfortable when they got into the game and immediately had to face Shohei Ohtani. Dodgers pitchers were at least a little bit uncomfortable getting into this game and facing O'Neal Cruz. It's not quite an Ohtani level of discomfort, but it's definitely something. It's definitely significant, and it helps make the entire Pirate offense better.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I've said that time and time again now, that Cruz feeds into those around him. It's a strategic decision that gets a lot of other people going. I mean, I'll even go further than 1 through 3. I think they've got a good 1 through 4 right now with Valdez in the cleanup spot. And you could even flip it on the other side. I think 9 through 4 is solid. I mean, it's not like earth shattering, it's not the Dodgers 9 through 4, but for how this team's constructed, I don't know if you could really come up with a better spot there. And if you want to throw Bard in at the 5, I mean, 2/3 of their lineup right now is really clicking. And once
even Adam Frazier is on,
yeah.
I think it's like a 7 or 8 game hitting streak.
They are hitting the ball better than they have all season, and they did it in a series against a team who has really good pitching. So that should be encouraging. They're going to need that offense. We don't have to preview the Cubs series. I'll take care of that later on in this channel. But I mean, you look at it, like, they've got 2 teams who have good pitching coming into the town. The Cubs are primarily succeeding with their offense right now, but they've got good starters, and the Padres have a really good pitching staff. So they're going to need that offense paired with their pitching. Any final notes here, Colin, as we wrap this one up?
Not really, honestly. I just feel like there were a lot of positive things that were done in this series and with the way it ended today, it doesn't feel like quite as good of a series as it was, quite as good of a road trip as it was. Obviously, today was a low note, but I feel like there were some signs of positivity around this team and some things to look forward to and things to be excited about. And that's something that we haven't seen for the first 20-something games of this season. 3-3 is something, but there were some good signs on this trip.
Absolutely. He's Colin Beazley. I'm Noah Hiles. Check out our work at Post-Gazette.com and subscribe to the YouTube channel at PG Pirates. We'll be back. We have an off day tomorrow. Live stream? I think so. Keep an eye out for that. And we'll have a series preview ahead as well. Pirates coming back home, taking on the Cubs and the Padres. We'll have you covered here at PG Pirates.
Thank you for checking out this content from Post-Gazette Sports. If you watch this video on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. For all of the sports coverage the Post-Gazette has to offer, visit post-gazette.com.